and hello to Queering Things and Saving People, the supernatural podcast where we're appalled by how many obvious red flags Dean, our resident best hunter, misses in this case. Today we're pulling up to Season 5, Episode 12, Swap Meet. I'm your host, August, and joining me today is my fabulous co-host, Noah.
Heyo!
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about this silly, goofy episode.
It's such a really silly, goofy episode. Honestly, it feels kind of like a nice breath of fun, fresh air before a really bad storm.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I think might be the last time you say that this season.
Oh, nice. We're still coming down from Ellen and Joe, so you know.
So we just get a fun little body swap episode today.
Yeah, casual.
I mean, lack of autonomy aside, it's a funny little episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Now that you've met your hosts for today, it's time to catch you up. If you haven't watched Supernatural recently, here's what you've missed on the road so far. First up, Noah is going to recap the show up to this point. Are you ready?
You count me in.
For sure. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Sam and Dean are these brothers that have been hunting monsters their whole lives because their dad was on a crazy revenge mission to kill the demon that killed his wife. They stop one apocalypse, kind of. They find out that they've accidentally free Lucifer from his cage, and the angels are there, and they save Dean from hell, and they want Dean to be Michael's vessel and Sam to be Lucifer's vessel, and it's really bad, and the world might end. So,
No big deal.
No, not big deal at all.
Very well done.
Okay, August, are you ready to recap this week's episode?
I'm ready.
Okay.
You count me in?
3, 2, 1, go.
So the brothers are just casually going through a random town looking for a ghost that's hunting their old babysitter, and then Sam gets body swapped with a teenager who is hunting both Sam and Dean, trying to turn them over to the demons because he thinks that he can make a good deal with demons at 17. Great. He chooses Sam instead of Dean. Dean misses far too many obvious signs that Sam wasn't Sam, eventually figures it out whenever quote-unquote Sam tries to kill him, and they swap back at the end after eventually saving the day for the babysitter without ever talking to her again. Oops.
Just a real messy episode, honestly.
Very messy. They don't ever follow up with...
No, I mean, yeah, they don't. They just kind of are like, teenagers, now go back to your lives and please do less witchcraft.
Please, that's it.
It's bad. It's a bad idea. Don't do that.
It's not healthy for you.
No. This is the origin of this is the reason that my mother didn't want me to watch this show as a teenager because of the teenage witchcraft. that would have been the
That's so fair. Sometimes it doesn't even require that much latent, obvious teenage witchcraft for them to assume that there's okay. Now it's time for us to pick some music to accompany us on our journey. Here's what we've got this week. Noah, what have you got?
I have a little bop called I Knew You Were Trouble by Taylor Swift. I wanted something for this episode that was funny, that was, Sam walks into this teenager's life and this teenager's like, I want that body, and it's trouble. It's trouble. Should have seen it coming.
Oh boy, should have seen that coming. God damn. Come on.
What about you, August?
This week, I went with ADHD by Truslow. It's a fun little ditty that is talking about how maybe we're not that different. You won't say you want to be just like me because maybe you won't turn back. A little bit of how Sam tries to relate to Gary, how Dean wants to relate to Gary, but can't quite make it there.
Sam really tries. Gives really a lot of kindness to the kid that's stolen his body.
He does. A lot more than most people would, I think.
Yeah.
Now that we've got our mixtape playing, it's time for this week's hunt. Today, we are exploring the 12th episode of Season 5, Swap Meet. Noah, did you want to give us a little bit more background on the tarot card this week?
Yeah, so this week's tarot card from the Supernatural Tarot deck is the Knight of Pentagrams. The Knight of Pentagrams is actually the Azazel card, which I think is kind of interesting for this episode. I'll read the card, tell us a little bit about it. Azazel is a single-minded, thoroughly evil prince of hell who will stop at nothing to achieve his goal of freeing Lucifer. The Knight of Pentagrams advises you to put action behind your goals, especially ones relating to your career or finances. You have big dreams, and now's the time to go after them. Which, thinking about Gary in this episode, it's like going after your goals, no matter what.
No matter what.
Put action behind them, but, there's a dark undertone to that, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, for sure.
And, connecting it back to Azazel and the whole, connections to Lucifer in this episode, I thought it was a kind of interesting card to frame our...
They do threaten. He kind of looms over this episode, as
Yeah.
not so much Azazel, but Lucifer.
Yeah. Well, and then, everything in the first few seasons of this show has been leading towards this, way back from season 2, we've been, and before, honestly,
once they set up the yellow-eyed demon.
Yeah. From the time Sam was 6 months old, they've been working towards this.
Well, let's jump into it. It's kind of a big episode. It's a lot happening.
I will just maybe say we will put a bit of a trigger warning on this discussion and this episode in general. We will be talking about some of the events of the episode, which include some assaults and the loss of bodily autonomy, again, particularly in the case of Sam's experience. And so, just if you're listening and that's going to be a sensitive topic for you, we will be doing our best to talk about that sensitively and carefully, but just be aware that those topics will come up.
As amusing as the start of the episode is, because it is fun to see Jared Padalecki acting like a little kid sometimes, that's entertaining. Thinking about it for too long is the problem. It's 17-year-old out here drinking and flirting it up, and
this woman
does not know.
It doesn't know, but also isn't picking up on the cues that maybe this younger person is not, something's wrong, something's off. I feel like
she should have picked up something.
Yeah, if someone is not picking up on those social cues, doesn't seem to know what they're talking about, maybe too out of it to consent, honestly, to this arrangement. And I feel like this woman should have noticed those things and maybe not just gone for it. And
doesn't feel like an actual character, an actual woman. It feels like just someone they wanted here for the joke, and that hurts.
Yeah.
Jared Padalecki really sells it. He does great.
He does. He plays the gang. You all of a sudden they're like half the time Sam, you were always aware that Sam is a big guy in scenes, because he is. He just takes up a lot of space in scenes, physically, and can be imposing. But this, he plays the gangly, I don't know what to do with my limbs kind of thing, and it's he does it quite well. I think it's quite funny.
Gets all of his joints so loose, and he's just.
I think he just gets to be more. I think he gets to be more Jared in this episode.
a little bit. Thinking
about his off screen and behind the scenes antics, this sounds a lot.
That's so fair. Then we get an old babysitter, right? She implies that she's babysat them multiple times, and John stopped through a couple times and dropped them off. And I don't think that, John doesn't seem like the type of person that would set up a babysitter ever. So this feels like a woman who found them at one point when they were left alone for too long, or maybe Dean went out to get food or ran into her and she found them and was like, oh my God, I'm gonna take care of you until your dad comes back. And then John came back and she was like, you're a shitty guy. Come back and bring them to me if you're going to do some shit like this again, If
you're going to go off and work, if you're going to go off on a work trip and leave your small children, please leave them with a responsible adult. Let me be that responsible adult. Oh, I like that a lot. I do agree that he does not seem like time, especially the way they describe it, because they kind of describe it like they remember her quite well, which makes me think they were not infants. Because I could see John maybe getting a babysitter when they're super tiny. But I imagine by the time Dean is 6 or 7, they're no longer being left really with someone.
Yeah, especially because if we're in this timeline, the Supernatural season 5 timeline, then John at the time of Mary's death isn't a hunter, and so at the time he interacts with this babysitter, I don't remember her name. Does she have a name?
I don't remember if they name her, which is, Supernatural do better. I'm going to look it up and see if we've just missed that, if that's an us issue or that's a Supernatural issue.
Shit. Woman, teenage girl, woman, teenage girl.
Oh God, they don't.
Donna.
Cool. They do eventually give her a name, but do they call her by it in the episode?
Because they call Katie her name.
They call her kid. Her kid's name is Katie. But they don't.
Okay, nope. So they don't name her, but...
they do name her, but it takes them a while. They do name her later.
Oh, when they're talking about... they name her so that Dean can comment on how good she looked.
And Sam can say, dude, don't tell me you've still got the hots for our babysitter, which also calls into question how old were they when they were being babysat. Also, which doesn't make sense because there's no fucking way that when Dean is old enough to have the hots for a babysitter, which gross, first off.
Sam being old enough to call it that.
Yeah, the fact that they both be conscious of it just doesn't track with them having a babysitter, young children. It reminds me of in 3 302, the first episode with Ben, where like they have Ben, checking out girls and he's 8. And you're just like, that's not how 8-year-olds talk about other children unless something very wrong has happened in their lives.
I think Donna came from the first time that a hunting trip went wrong for John. Like, he was gone longer than he planned to, and the boys went out and found her, or she found them.
Or they ran out of money and tried to steal, which, like, we know happened.
Yeah.
And, they weren't very good at it because they're too little.
So John kept her as if I'm doing a mission that could be suicidal or dangerous on that level, then I'm going to drop them off with her.
If I'm in the area close
East
to
Coast.
here, as opposed to, because this is not close to like where Bobby is or like where anyone else he could have dropped them off with, Bobby or Pastor John or.
God, how cool would it have been if Bobby had just made a network of protective people to protect the boys from John?
Honestly, Bobby's just some of my favorite fanfic involves Bobby just basically being like, actually no, and just taking the boys at a young age and being like, actually, I have custody now. You don't get to see
anybody. Like, I'll prove it.
It's Bobby aiming a shotgun at John, but like keeping the boys instead of Bobby aiming a shotgun at John and then them all leaving. Like,
beautiful.
I wish we knew more about Donna. Like, if this was a reoccurring thing. Like, we've never heard about her before. We won't hear about her again.
And her kid just gets targeted by this dead witch, and we don't visit that ever again. Like, hope your kid's better. Bye.
We're like, we got caught up with these teenagers who were fucking around with body swapping, and now we're leaving town.
I feel like they could have included a scene where Gary and Dean go back to Donna and Katie's house and talk to them, and that could have been yet another opportunity for Dean to miss more red flags.
Because, I mean, your brother grows an entirely new personality, and you're just like, it's fine because it's the personality I want him to have? Question mark?
In a world where possession is possible and happens frequently.
And, like, they have the anti-possession symbols tattoos, but, like, you should not count out someone trying to take... Also, literally, this whole season is based around, like, someone is trying to take Sam's body.
Literally.
We should maybe be suspicious if Sam's acting weird.
Maybe pay a little bit more attention to that. And every season, they've found a new type of creature that's even more powerful than anything they had previously imagined. So why is it so hard to think about the potential that maybe there's something that can get past these anti-possession spells, Maybe
you should ask more questions earlier. Yeah. Like, Sam suddenly wants a burger, not a salad. Okay, that's like a little bit of a red flag, but like, if that's
when
the only thing.
Is like, hey, do you ever wonder about if your entire life is planned out? Yeah, no shit, bro. We talk about that all the time. What? That's what our entire fight is about. What?
So
how do you not know this?
Oh, Dean is bag of rocks for brains in this episode.
Bag of rocks.
Like, what does Dean do? I love the boy, but like, what does he do in this episode? Until like 3/4 of the way through.
Only seeing what he wants to see, and then he becomes Batman. Like, as soon as he's good, then he is literally standing in the shadows right behind Gary as Gary's ready to take the shot. Beautiful, but damn, why did it take so long?
I don't know.
So annoying.
At the beginning of this episode, I do just want to say that I think someone should let Sam enjoy a salad in peace without commenting on it.
This salad looks super cool, not gonna lie. The way it's all self-contained, shaky.
I love beautiful. That's what I do with all my salads. Is I put them in a container and I shake them to get the dressing on, because like, who's pouring dressing on a salad like an amateur?
And this also feels like it'd be perfect for Sam because it's shaped kind of like a cup. It could fit in a cup holder. You could take that on the road. That's perfect.
I'm sure he did. Someone let Sam enjoy a salad. He just,
please, he shouldn't get shit with for that. It's dumb.
No. Sam is a rough episode for Sam.
Seriously, he gets tranquilized twice.
He wakes up in a teenager's body.
He gets lectured by his parents, the kid's parents.
Which, okay, brutal. I also think Sam also, like, bag of rocks for brains.
Bag of rocks, I swear.
Once you realize you are in someone else's body, why would you ask the kind of questions that you do? Like, you are going to give yourself away. You don't know what's happening. You don't know if the parents are in on it. You don't know why this is happening. Why are you
he's sitting there at the breakfast table trying to question this family, right? And he does not blink at the sister, does not give her the time of day at all. He's just focused on the parent when everybody knows the siblings have more dirt on each other than the parents even know exists.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah.
Sam knows that.
Everything.
Come on.
Siblings know, and also like like if you're gonna say who's more likely to have like gotten accidentally messed up in something supernatural, maybe without realizing it, maybe look at the sibling. Like it's not her, but like that would be a probably your best intel.
She would pick up on some signals there. Come on.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I feel like if that whole conversation would have been so much easier if he had just turned his head a little bit to the right and paid attention to her. Okay.
Or like pull the sister aside and ask her some questions. That seems like, which he kind of does later,
Well,
but
she comes to him. She's like, what the fuck are you doing, dummy? Like, you're kind of exposing yourself in front of everybody. He's like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, because again, siblings keep your secrets, and from the parents, that's, you know, that's how it works. Is
how it works.
The siblings know, and they're like, what are you doing? Why are you?
Yeah, we'll never. Okay, this episode, we could talk about this episode all day, and Dean could still, he could, you know, you could make up an excuse for maybe he thought this, maybe he thought this. If his brother walks through a building with the shotgun saying, booyah, Master Chief is in the house, biznatches? No.
No, it's not Sam. It's not Sam.
Not Sam.
Not fucking possible.
That moment right there,
like,
I will never understand how that wasn't the last.
That wasn't the tip off.
Yeah.
Like,
come on. That's not even something Dean like would want him to say. You know, like his ideal version of Sam isn't saying that.
No, that's just not anywhere. That's so clearly something a teenager would say.
So clearly. I don't think Sam and Dean played Halo at all in the slightest. So like, does he have? No.
There's no context for this. No context for this at all.
No.
Oh, I do think it's kind of cool that Gary, in Sam's body, asks if he can drive.
Gary exclamation point
Sam asks if he can drive, which is like we've talked about before, how like Sam driving always indicates like him taking autonomy and like taking control of the narrative. But in this case, it's Gary taking control of the narrative.
Taking control of Sam.
And it's like a further flip of Sam's agency.
And from Dean's perspective, that's a really sweet moment. You know, they're getting ready to go out and Sam asks, oh, hey, can I? Yeah. Hey, wholesome.
It always means a lot when they do that, like in the show in general. It always is significant.
And then, nope, slams baby into the trash cans. Like,
which also should have been a big clue. Like, Sam is not a bad driver.
No, at least he knows when he's going forward.
Yeah,
you know?
There's no way that Sam would do that, because also he would not dare.
No. Maybe in a normal car, you know, just to fuck with Dean.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Never with baby.
Never with baby. I mean, even when Dean was dead, the worst Sam did was put in an iPod jack.
Yeah, which should have stayed, honestly. I feel like that's underrated. There's so much more music. Okay, whatever. Dean's just grumpy.
He needs his grumpy old man music.
Teenagers using a tranquilizer gun was just, okay, you just have that. You just got it. And okay, using it
how
at night.
How common is a tranquilizer? Like, how easy is it to get a tranquilizer gun in the States? Is it easy?
I've never seen one. I've never.
Cool.
Somebody, well, okay. No, I do know somebody who has one, but they're own a lot of guns type of person.
Okay. So possible, but this family does not seem like, none of these families seem like the kind that would, and they're not like in like the wilderness where they would.
I can
maybe
see Trevor being whiny enough that his parents would get him one if he really like made up a reason. Because oh my god, that kid, he's a challenge.
Yeah, these kids are. It also feels like, and the way they portray these kids, like I don't love when Supernatural does the like these loner kids are actually doing
evil.
Yeah, they're actually evil, because like reality is for most kids that are kind of loners, that's like not the case. Like most kids that are kind of on the outskirts are not, you know, 2 steps away from like taking someone's body via demonic possession. The smart kid, virgin, frustrated virgin, which come on, Sam.
Yeah, a Star Wars shirt does not equate to being a virgin.
And also, Sam is the smart kid. Like in Supernatural, Sam is the smart kid. Sam, you cannot tell me Sam would not have been wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
come on,
buddy.
Ridiculous.
You know better.
I mean, he's probably not wrong about Gary, but like that's a different.
But based
story.
Entirely on the shirt,
he doesn't know Gary at that point.
It's just funny to me because that's like exactly what Sam was like as a teenager. Is he was the like studious like nerd type.
Yeah.
It's funny to see him be like, oh, well, that obviously means.
So maybe he's projecting a little bit.
Maybe.
Nora, however, of the 3 teenagers, Nora is the one who has the most, credibility as an actual person.
Mm-hmm. She seems the most like fleshed out as a character too, I think.
Yeah, and her actress was also the most skilled for sure. she flipped on the demon switch really well. It was a little scary.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, this is a completely different person now.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
it was a very good performance. And it's
She
a
killed
nice tie into the rest of the season because this episode kind of stands a little bit on its own until you get that moment where it goes from being kind of like high stakes because they have Sam's body, but not because like it is a bunch of teenagers performing a spell, to all of a sudden being like, oh shit.
Sounding the alarm for all the demons around kind of thing.
This
Terrifying.
like could be a Lucifer problem.
Yeah.
I want to talk about when we get to meta and lore a little bit because I have some questions about Sam's advice to the kid at the end of the episode where he goes like, you don't like your parents' plan? Tell them to cram it, rebel a little in a healthy, non-satanic way.
The fact that he says cram it should have been like, it's like, okay, yeah, so that's Sam back in his body again. Talking like an older guy. Nice.
Yeah, talking like a adult who is a long way away from being a teenager.
Yeah.
And also has nothing in common with these suburban children.
No. But he does the rebel a little, but in a healthy, non-satanic way. Please.
He's like, we don't want to come back. Yeah, I do. They don't kill him because he's human and he's a child, which, I appreciate.
Step in the right direction.
That we're not just murdering children because...
Not this episode.
Yeah.
Some episodes.
Oh boy.
Sucks.
Oh boy.
I didn't love that voicemail has become a recurring nightmare for this show.
Yeah. Okay, so why does Sam's voice sound like his real voice when he calls?
See, now, I was thinking about that, and I want to believe that it's because his phone said he had 38 messages. I want to believe that he heard the first one, that we didn't hear whenever he was doing that little compilation montage at the end.
Yeah.
And after the first one, Dean heard Gary's voice in the first one, but he heard the cadence and the tone of it, and then in the second one, heard it as Sam. And that's
okay, so it's like an
hear.
Editing choice because Dean knows it's Sam at that point.
Yeah, because he's hearing it and listening for the stuff that he knows and is familiar. He's like, okay,
that's
check your friggin' voicemail. Like, yeah, okay,
right. He's clued in at that point, and so yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
because I mean, we're viewing the whole of the story from a distinct viewpoint, right?
Yeah,
it's something. It's not.
They're very meta. Yeah, exactly. For the editing to be a choice.
Ghost facers and whatnot.
Yeah. Lots of little meta.
It's a ghost facer effect.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into that. I again, the only time Sam and Dean can give each other genuine compliments is when it's literally not Sam. So Gary says all these nice things to Dean. And he's like, "You're a really good guy," and it's not Sam.
Sucks. It's probably great for Dean's, self-esteem and his mental processing of things
until he realizes it's not Sam.
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't know if we knew. I mean, we kind of probably did know. I mean, obviously everyone kind of wants Dean, but like the fact that they're saying Dean is Hell's Most Wanted.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Like are they trying to keep him out of the hands of Lucifer? I'm assuming that's what my gut reaction would be is like that's why he's Hell's Most Wanted, is not for anything in the past, but because he's Michael's vessel.
Yeah. No, I think so for sure. They want to eliminate Michael's vessel if they can. It's surprising that Sam isn't on the list because I think if you put someone on Hell's Most Wanted, dead or alive is assumed because either way they're gonna end up down there
in hell.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, and the demons aren't gonna kill Sam because again, they know Lucifer needs him, so they're just like, cool, we can hijack his body right now.
But as soon as that demon hears, oh, sorry, you have Dean Winchester and Sam's meat suit without the complication of Sam. Beautiful. Love that.
They're like, this is ideal.
So much easier.
This is so much easier. Poor, Sam's autonomy is just as much as it's funny, it's also that's rough.
The mental toll that's got to take on him is immense.
Yeah, especially he's dealing with this situation where literally Lucifer wants to possess him. So suddenly finding himself not in his body has got to be doubly terrifying.
Yeah, because now the stakes are completely out of his control.
Yeah, in his own body.
Yeah, he at least has been able to hold back Lucifer because Lucifer needs his body, and as long as Sam's in control of it, terrifying. So it kind of makes sense, I guess, that he's not at his best when he's operating as Gary for those first 24 hours.
It's just sheer panic
moment after panic moment after panic. Yeah.
That's honestly, like, as much as I'm like, I would like to think that I would slow down and try not give away that I'm not the person whose body I'm in. When you're in that moment and you're like, this is not my body and I do not know how to fix this. And also I don't know that anyone will believe me, including Dean.
The one person I need to believe me.
Yeah. The funny outfit. It's like they do some fun visual stuff with the mirrors and stuff that I think are fun cues.
The mirror work is really good in this episode. They do a solid job of that. I think it's also important to talk about the brothers' two conversations at the beginning and the end.
Yes.
Where Dean is talking about, hey, do you ever want that white picket fence life after they leave Donna's at the beginning? And Sam is not into it. He's nah, dog, it can't happen. Every time we try, it's cursed and falls apart. And Dean is still holding out hope that maybe there's something he can come back to.
I think it's interesting that Dean's asking Sam if that's what he wants still, because I think he wants that for Sam.
Yeah, as an older sibling.
And I think Dean's always thought, like, we do hunting because, like, we have to. But if we didn't have to, I would want an apple pie life. Whereas Sam was like, I want an apple pie life, and now has, like, gone the other way of, like, no, but I don't want that anymore. It's very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
And very interesting at the end of the episode where he says the kid's life sucked. He's like, he says to the kid, I'm telling you, kid, I wish I had your life. And then he tells Dean that he lied. And I don't think Dean kind of looks at him like he didn't think Sam lied when Sam said to the kid that I wish I have your life. I think that's a little bit of a surprise to Dean, because I think he still thinks Sam.
I don't know, whenever they're standing out there and Sam says it, he kind of cocks his head a little bit, like he's maybe not so much surprised that Sam doesn't want that, but surprised that his answer has changed since yesterday. Like he's okay, so wait, what's the truth here? So he digs a little bit deeper.
What is Sam actually lying about? Which time is Sam lying?
Yeah. And
is Sam even fully aware of it? Does Sam even really fully know what he wants? But
Sam doesn't even ask Dean, doesn't ask back, oh well, do you want it? No. Dean just has to make these little casual hints at, maybe we don't know what we're missing.
That's actually kind of heartbreaking, because it's very, like, pretty typical of Sam to, like, not.
It's a younger sibling
reciprocate that question.
Yeah.
Their roles kind of showing up of Dean being like, what do you want? And Sam being like, oh.
Are you happy, Sam?
He's trying to be I think he's trying to be asked. He wants them to ask, like, oh, is that apple pie family crap? Like, is that something that you want?
We know he likes pie.
Yeah. And he says, we don't know. Maybe we don't know what we're missing. Which, fair. They've never had a, like, normal life.
Nope. Even when they have a hint of it, it's because they got body swapped into it.
Which also seems like these parents in general were putting a lot of pressure on their kids.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. It was a little painful.
Yeah. Like, maybe if you give your kids a little bit more freedom to choose their own path, then they won't turn to body swapping witchcraft. Yeah. There's the family values in this episode is like, if you try to control your children too much, they will turn to the dark arts.
They will take other means to get there. That book that they are going through, which maybe we'll talk about this more during lore, but they've got, notes scribbled in there for ease of access. So they're using all of this pretty regular.
Yeah. It makes me wonder what else they've, done leading up to this. Is surely not the first thing they've done. This is the biggest thing they've done, but like, surely they didn't jump immediately to the body swap spell.
Yeah. I mean, okay, if this isn't the first thing they've done, then why is his life still so shitty? Why is he still so unhappy? He's not gotten any sort of change with his parents in the situation there. I feel like if you're getting into witchcraft, you don't start with the body swap. Go for the hell's most wanted.
Yeah.
Start somewhere smaller.
Yeah. Maybe try changing your family circumstances through something a little less kind of vaguely murdery.
Yeah. At least somewhat. Next up, we're going to move right into our Going Meta section, where we are tracking lore, representation, behind-the-scenes trivia, and more. First up, we've got our representation check. Rep check? Okay, I mean, we've already talked a bit about how Donna doesn't even get named until she's a sex object for the boys. Katie gets a name, which is great, but it's only so she can be a victim, so not great.
And even Nora is positioned very much in terms of her relationship with these two boys.
Yeah, she does get more character development.
Yeah. She does.
two of them, but mostly through other conversations, not her. So that's a little
a little shoddy, and the representation of like taking away someone's, the way they do the bar scene with Sam or Gary exclamation point Sam, and the woman is it's
taking away her consent without her even knowing.
And Sam's, and like not and treating it as like a laughable thing as opposed to like this is a kind of concerning situation.
Could have gone without that. Not a bunch else.
No,
as far as representation.
Not representation wise. To get this, I was looking into the lore. Lots of lore and some lost canon. Honestly, bit of both.
Okay, let's jump into the body swap. Okay.
Yeah.
If this spell is this easy to do when they do it at the end to switch them back, why don't they use this a lot more? I feel like this could be in the comics recently. The X-Men came up with a whole technological quote unquote way to rebirth everybody, so anybody who dies, they can download them and make them a clone, make a clone of them. They can come back as themselves, but a new, better version. So I feel like this could be used in a way similar to how Ruby got her body and nobody would die. Hunters could be using witchcraft a bit more.
There's some interesting things there, because we've really got like witchcraft really associated with like demons. And really dangerous as a result. But yeah, it seems like some of these things could be potentially helpful. I mean, obviously we should not be body swapping people without their consent.
No, for sure not.
But if it's that easy of a spell to do, also it feels like it should be happening. I mean, it is in this like rare book, which I will say does not appear again. So that's some lost canon there.
Where'd he get it?
Also, do we get a clear picture of like where this book goes at the end of the episode? Do they take it?
No, I don't know.
I'm assuming they don't leave it with the teenagers. So I'm assuming they take it.
Maybe they burn it, but I hope they take it to Bobby.
I think I would maybe say that seems like a solid assumption.
Especially if it's something they want to put in their back pocket in case they need it.
Yeah.
Bobby's a safe place.
And Bobby collects all that lore.
Yeah.
Bobby has
the more spells he knows, the more powerful he can be. God, Bobby as a warlock would
Bobby in his warlock era, please. Though the body swap also raises this like question when they're like, oh, we have Sam Winchester's body. Kind of, so if Lucifer came to Gary and like asked him to say yes, and Gary said yes, can Gary say yes for Sam? Because it's not Gary's, because at that point it's Gary's soul.
Gary's saying yes.
Presumably it's Gary's soul. Is Gary's soul in Sam's body?
The demon saw right through the meat suit when Sam was there, so she so why couldn't a demon possess Sam if they didn't have these tattoos, these spells?
Well, and then at that point is when you've now, because now you've separated like the vessel, the body, and the soul, and like the person. So like, does Lucifer, is it just Sam's body that he needs? Does it matter? Because in that case, if it's just Sam's body, then he could just kill Sam and take Sam's dead body. So it doesn't seem to be that. So presumably, like, it wouldn't work. He couldn't just take it in Gary, because Gary's not the vessel. Sam is.
But the vessel they've been hyping up this whole time is in the bloodline. So if Sam gets swapped in Gary's body, does he still have demon blood? Like,
but can Gary give consent to Lucifer in Sam's body?
That's so convoluted.
Wouldn't you believe it? They're not going to bring this up again.
I bet not.
Into the lost cannon jar it goes. Fascinating question, though.
Very interesting to think about. They said, oh, that is cool to think about. We don't want to do it, though.
We're going to waste it on a teenager body swapping episode only.
I feel like that could have motivated, like if these demons reported back to Lucifer, then he's like, oh, hey, that's something we could use. Like maybe work that into your plans further down the line. Come on.
Yeah. Seems like useful. I mean, I guess demons usually just do possession most of the time. Like most of the time that's just as effective. Like demons don't need to swap bodies because they don't have bodies unless they take them.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there any other lore in this episode?
We already talked about Donna and their history with her and John and all that.
Yeah.
Not a lot else. Creepy book, creepy demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell's Most Wanted.
Hell's Most Wanted.
What they get out of it.
The little network they have there with all the, witches and warlocks across the countries, across the globe. That's an interesting aspect to look at. Like they've got a little network of team members, because just as many people are praying to angels, and angels got their little feelers out for the boys too. But this is the little demon side of it. They went out to all these Satanists, and
like this human demon, a lot like it's like this network of like witches and demons that are
super interesting. Do we get more of that in
there is going to be more of that, yes,
adjacent type.
Yes, we're gonna find out, we're gonna get more of demon politics,
yes,
and witches and warlocks, and like that's gonna the
world
is gonna keep opening up and in some of the later seasons and forthcoming. So
beautiful.
Yeah, so you'll get some more. There'll be some more interesting stuff there. It's interesting to place this episode in that context.
Would have been fun to see an older Gary come back in season 12 or something and help out. That'd be fun.
I wish we got to see more Donna, is the one thing I wish we got to see. I wish we got more of their history.
Yes.
Or got to see her and her daughter again. Got to see them connect with her, because obviously she knows about what they do.
Yeah.
Which like very few people from their childhood seem like they actually knew the truth.
And has their number. She has their phone, or John's maybe, but she seemed to know that John was gone and wasn't surprised about that.
Oh, that's interesting too, which indicates that she's had at least maybe some contact with them.
But they were also like, we haven't seen you in forever. So that's...
So how does she know? Who does she know?
Maybe Bobby.
Maybe she's Bobby and Donna are just strategizing about who's got the kids this weekend.
Yes.
They're like different quadrants of the country, It's just like it's a Winchester support network.
They're in your sector today? Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. John's gonna drop in with you tonight.
Oops, John didn't make it. I'm gonna take him. Surprise, surprise. The
whole group text chain.
John. Yeah.
Just a little text chain of them roasting John.
Beautiful. John's still in it, and they know that, but they keep doing it. And it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not behind his back or anything.
No, you got to do John slander right to his face.
Well, now it's time to wrap it up with our final section of the episode, character blessings. August, who would you like to bless this week?
Well, Noah, today I would like to bless Donna. She calls them for help, and she knows about the supernatural, and she seems to be a single parent, and just seems like a cool person, and a person who cared for the boys and when they were younger, and I hope that she had a good non-supernatural connected life after this, with her and her daughter.
Hell yeah. Blessings to Donna.
Okay, Noah, you're up.
I'm gonna go ahead and bless Sam, because he went through the ringer this episode. He had a lot to handle, got a lot thrown on his plate, and he handled it pretty well, all things considered, and pulled through and was still trying to save these kids. He tried his hardest to save Trevor. Trevor had every opportunity to listen to him and not antagonize a demon, but Sam couldn't get him. And so I think that's going to be hard for Sam to hold as well, but he can do it. He's strong. Blessings to Sam.
Blessings to Sam. Good blessing. He needs it this week.
Oh, yeah. That is all we've got for today. Thank you so much for recording today, August. It was a blast.
It was so fun. Thanks, Noah. I had a great time talking about this episode, and a
lot of in-depth conversation about a kind of silly episode. It was good.
Yeah, we got some good stuff out of this that I wasn't fully expecting in our discussion. So good stuff. So yeah, that's all we've got. You can subscribe to Saving People Clearing Things wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you like our show, we'd love if you share it with your friends. Force them to watch Supernatural with you, as all good friends do.
Yeah, it's like The Ring. You got to pass it on, otherwise it eats you alive.
Right. Pass the curse along to someone else.
You can find links to our social media and join our Discord server through our website, queeringthingspodcast.com.
And if you're all caught up on Supernatural and you want to go back to before the beginning, you can listen to our entire first season of the Winchesters content with myself, Elena, as well as our friends Beth and KJ over at Wayward Parents, with updates at Wayward Parents on Twitter.
Be sure to ride along with us next week as we explore Season 5, Episode 13, The Song Remains the Same.
Thank you all for coming along for the ride, and we wish you a peaceful road until we meet again.